Hello, people. This goes out to Nancy Ray and White Crow, who seem real interested in my work. So I've recently discovered that the Torah wasn't written in Hebrew. It was in an older phonetic alchemy language. It's the worldwide language that the gods decided they must come down and change. It's much closer to English than it is to Hebrew. So if y'all give me a couple minutes, I'm going to teach you how to read it, and then I'm going to show you some really interesting things in the Bible. So a long time ago, phonetic meant picture language and not sound, and it caused your brain to work differently. You would look at the images, and your brain would process it into ideas. So the pictures in the language appears to have evolved on the planet with man. So if you haven't seen my other flicks, this might shock you, so you might want to sit down, get a glass of water. You can see here how the picture words evolved into letters. So we're going to start reading with the Canaanite. It reads from right to left like the Hebrew, and the pictures make it a little easier to understand. So the first word is house, head, power, fire, hand, writings. And I believe the house is the top view of a floor plan in a tent. And this means in. The head is the top, is the chief, the royal, the R. And the aleph is the knowledge, the power, the God. The fire to consume, the hand to work, and the seals, the X, the cross is the writings, the seals. And so what it says is in the beginning, the housed head, in the beginning, the knowledge to consume, the work seals. In the beginning, learn to read the work seals. And then you see it repeated again, the B-R-A, Bara, the house of Ra, in the top knowledge, in the first knowledge, house of the royal knowledge. Possibly this wasn't made for man, it was only for the king. Then we have Alahim, the knowledge to bind life, work, waters. And this crook, if you were a shepherd, you might be using it to divide your sheep, to separate them. So it would be the knowledge to separate the life, work, waters. Next we see this ox head and seal, cross, the knowledge of the writings, learn the writings. It's in the Bible more than 12,000 times, and it's omitted. It means nothing. It evolved into the other languages. In French, it's et. So what it's saying is learn the writings of the fire waters to work waters. The little man standing, that's the life, and it also means thee, and you'll find it in front of a lot of writings. And the fire waters, we know those are spirits, alcohol. And the waters also means from. Everything comes from the water. We come from the water. So what it's saying is to learn the writings of the spirits to work from. And after that, you'll see the same thing again, starting with a tent peg, a connecting rod. It's an and learn the writings of the knowledge of the royal plants. So this royal plants, the plants evolved into the Greek X, and you know it today by the RX, the drugs. So what it's saying is, in the beginning, learn to consume the work seals in the royal knowledge of the Alahim, or the alchemists, or the knowledge to bind the life work waters. Learn the writings of the spirits to work from, and learn the writings, the knowledge of drugs. So after studying many of these letter meaning charts, I pulled this off of a Christian page, and I used it, and I've upgraded it to some discrepancies I found after much study. And I'm going to go over this with you and you can see how the letters evolved in it. So this would be the first page missing from your Bible. This would be the first day in school, and the teacher would teach you in the first grade. The A is the knowledge is the most important, and the house, the family, is the second most important. Uh, the camel, the the dalet is also in alchemy. It would be to purify, to pass through a sieve. We get down here to Z, and it's more used as a tool uh, than a weapon. In fact, there's not a lot of fighting going on. It's mostly a chemistry book, and it's teaching you how to use tools, not weapons. The chet is a dividing wall to divide. The tet is to collect in the basket. The serpent, the number 9, and it's also the tit, the nipple that went on top of the distillery that was the collector, the same as a tit would collect the waters for the baby. Yod is the hand to work, to make. Ka is the open hand to give. It's also in Egypt. Ka was the living soul, the life force energy that lived after you die. The El, it was not necessarily the shepherd's staff, but it was originally the tongue, and it means to taste. But it's also used for the shepherd's staff, to bind, to direct. The M, waters, were 90% waters, were from water. Mother, you're from your mother. Now the N, meaning fish or seed, in Egypt, this N was the waters, and it wasn't necessarily the waters, but it was the cycle of the waters. It was the tides, and it mostly refers to cycles when you see it. Cycles or seed. So this first S here, it was the Jed pillar. It was a support, and the supports all disappeared. So now it mostly means secret, but it meant support or secret. And this I was the most damaging thing. It looks like a O, and that really throws our language off today. But the I is to see, or the Eye of Ra. It also means the center, and they have many graphs, circular graphs, and it means the center. Pei was the mason's mark. The master mason would go down to the stone quarry, and he would draw the Pei on the face of the stone where he was going to carve his image. And by looking at that Pei, somebody could look at, and they would know which side of that stone turned out and which side was up. And so when it says word, it didn't mean spoken word. It meant the engraved word. So this Tazadi, it would evolve into our X. It is said to mean the side of man, or to slay or break forth, but I believe that they were trying to totally hide the word plants. They were trying to hide what the book was about, and so it probably means plants most of the time you see it. This quaff, in Egypt, it was drawn as a stone with a ragged face on the back side, and it meant the backside to come after. So the Ra is the first, and the Kara is the second, to come after the first. So the Ra means the top, the royal, the head, the chief. So the Shin is the fire, the teeth, to consume by fire. And that's a big part of alchemy, where They'll burn everything down and consume it by fire to extract what they're looking for. So the Tav is the cross, the mark, writings, the seals, and that's what was trying to be restored, the Christo, to restore the cross. And that's the first thing they did, was turn it around to look like an N, and they were trying to disguise it. So it makes them feel better if they flaunt this in front of you. It makes them feel like they're that much smarter than you, and you're an idiot, and you don't need to know the truth, and you deserve to be ruled over by the gods of Greece. And the reason you don't hear about this is because this right here is in the beginning. One of the first rules you learn is to divide the head's connection. You don't talk about it. I didn't get as far as I wanted to. I'm going to take a break here, and I'll get back here shortly with part number 2, and we'll start on the second line.